Hello, we are Sarah Bramall and Rebecca Daniel, and together we are the Coaching Catalysts. We're both ICF accredited coaches, we're coach trainers for lead coach training organisations, and we're coach supervisors.
And together we work with coaches and professionals, helping them to enhance their coaching practice. We do this via the Coaching Catalyst Collective, which is a service that is designed for coaches who use coaching skills in their work, in their business, to help them to elevate their coaching practice, develop their skills, and enhance their abilities as a coach.
Where are you learning? Where are you growing? Where are you changing?
I've done group coaching with both you, Rebecca, and Sarah, and I love them.
And I remember a lecturer saying to me that a coach can only ever take their clients as deeply as they've taken themselves.
And I'm very, very lucky that Sarah and Rebecca were the first people that I approached, but have been exactly what I'm looking for.
It was actually the addition of supervision which helped me to develop as a coach even more.
Often have you sacrificed your sleep or skipped your lunch or not booked a doctor's appointment?
When we can start to really embrace our clients and their differences, it's then important for us to look at our own biases and our own assumptions.
We need employees to be offering some greater flexibility about working hours.
You appreciate that us as people will get so much more out of our business if we get so much more out of ourselves.
Just loved, having the space to kind of dream.
Now I'm reaching my top goal, which I didn't think I'd be anywhere near. And I think without the support of Rebecca and Sarah, I really don't know if I would have got to that point.
So if you want to work with us either one-to-one, via the collective, or training for your business or organisation, we look forward to hearing from you soon. Get in touch with us using the details below.
Well, good morning. Happy Wednesday. How are you, Rebecca?
Happy Wednesday. We are midweek. I cannot believe how quickly the week is flying, but we are having so much fun doing these showcases.
We are having the best week because we've spent this week speaking to our clients and speaking to our supervisors and really celebrating our clients, our supervisors, sharing our stories, sharing everybody's sort of coaching journey, the wonderful work that they're doing as coaches, and also talking about the importance and the power of supervision, which we're clearly so passionate about. We've got a really special guest for you this morning. So Natalie Costa is the founder of Power Thoughts, and she is a client with us in the collective, a client with us in supervision. And she is going to come and talk today about her amazing coaching journey and the niche that she works in, and also about supervision and how she has benefited from working in supervision with us. So, Natalie, let's bring you on to the stage. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. It's an absolute pleasure to have you in the virtual room with us. So, Natalie, I put both hands up. I am one of your biggest fans. I'm just going to put this out there before we even go any further. Natalie will tell us about the work she does in a second, but she worked with my son some years ago. He's now nearly 16, and I remain absolutely indebted to Natalie for her incredible work. She's, an absolute superstar. So on that note, Natalie, I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us about you and about the amazing work that you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anne, for your support as well. So I am the founder of Power Thoughts, and Power Thoughts is a coaching and educational service that I put together to initially help children tap into the power of their own thoughts and to help them recognize that they don't need to believe every thought they think or respond to everything they feel, and giving them really those tools when it comes to looking after their emotional and mental well-being. But over the years, the work very much is not just about supporting children, but it's also about supporting parents as well. So my work involves me coaching parents, coaching children, corporate coaching events, supporting parent networks. So a whole range of different areas that I get involved in.
So Natalie doesn't know this yet, but I have already earmarked you for future version of my daughter because Sarah does highly rate you, and a lot of people highly recommend the work that you do. And being former educators, we know how important this is, right? But also being parents, being adults, carers, it's important that we are supporting the younger generation. So it sounds like you love the work that you do.
Thank you.
100%. So, Natalie, we would really love to hear from you about what brought you to supervision with us in the collective and what you have gained from being in supervision.
No, great question. I think for, coaching is obviously, if we compare it to, say, therapy, and that was an area that I was exploring to go down quite a few years ago before I fell into coaching, and I really enjoyed that way of working. But I think one of the things that I think is really important is, as coaches, we don't always recognize how much of ourselves we're putting into our business, into our work. It's, there's a lot of energy that goes in terms of supporting our clients. And I know it's quite common within therapy practices for therapists to have therapists, but actually within the coaching world, coaches, yes, have business coaches, and you've got your own coach that helps you build your business and develop that. But where is that sort of supervision to hold space for all the emotional things, I think, that you might not recognize you're holding as a coach? And one of the things that really intrigued me in this is it wasn't necessarily that I needed help building my business or growing that, because I've got that support. But it was just holding space for what I was experiencing in my sessions and being able to have a constructive conversation. So not just a debrief with a friend, so to say, but more of a supervised, contained conversation within the coaching capacity. And so for me, I just found, in terms of professional development, I think that's really important. Integrity is very important to me, because we also know, I know there's there's a lot more forward steps taking place in the coaching industry, but it's not as regulated as, say, therapy or counseling is yet. And I do think that is really, really important. And so all of that, so I tick the boxes in terms of, looking for supervision, getting that sort of support. And, that really led me into obviously seeking the support with yourself and hearing the amazing things that you've been doing, both of you, Rebecca and Sarah, in terms of coaching supervision and the power that has.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you for that. Yeah, so I really appreciate what you say there about the importance of having that safe space as a coach to bring your stuff, right? To bring your energy, because ultimately we are our energy and we hold so much space for clients, in your case, for both children and their families and those school contexts and other contexts that you work in as well. There's a lot going on. So if we're not making that space and having that time to take care of ourselves and our own well-being, we can't really perform the best we can in our coaches.
And that's also what I found, because I feel the work that I do is a little bit more unique in terms that I am coaching children, I'm working with children, but I'm also working with parents, and in most cases it's also two parents, and so there's a lot of moving parts within what I do. And I think at times I felt like I'm holding a lot, but actually how am I just taking time to decompress and debrief what I'm experiencing in a safe space? And that obviously is the power of supervision.
So to reflect, to decompress in a safe space. And I think the other thing that you said there, which is really interesting, is about the coaching industry, because as we know as coaches, the coaching industry isn't regulated yet, but there's a lot of us, and I now include all of us three and everybody else who's members of our collective, that we are really working hard to be the most professional and ethical coaches that we can be. And although supervision it's not yet a requirement for coaches, our sense is, what we're sensing from the industry, that we're moving in a direction of supervision being a requirement for professional coaches. And I think absolutely rightly so.
And I think it's really needed. I actually really didn't realize how much I needed it until we started our sessions. And I always came away from the sessions. As we know, with the power of coaching, you come away and you're like, oh, that was so powerful. And I know that, the supervision is slightly different. The conversation structure is slightly different to your standard coaching sessions. But coming away from each session, I think, Sarah, I shared this with you so many times, like, this is so powerful. I didn't realize how much I actually needed this space to really explore what was going on. And initially going into the session, not really knowing what I'm bringing, but always leaving like, wow, how did I miss that and not actually think about this before? And I think that was really the power of the conversations that we had. And obviously what you bring to the table in terms of your questioning and holding space and really reflecting back some of the things that I was saying and experiencing, that just helped me to work through that in a healthy way.
Yeah, thank you. And
Thank you.
what would you say to a coach who's practicing but who's not yet in supervision? What would your advice be to them?
Oh, I would absolutely say explore supervision. I wish that this was around when I started. I think, and this is many years ago that I qualified, and there's been some great, leaps in the coaching industry. But it can be really isolating when you start out. It can be very overwhelming. And I think being able to get that support, having those supervision sessions, I think is only going to fast forward your progress in ways that, I really wish that I'd had when I started out, because there's so many new things that are taking place and, different conversations that you're having. And as we know with coaching, it's conversations, but it's very structured conversation that we're having. And it can be really overwhelming and isolating. So I think getting that support from an earlier, I want to say earlier age, I don't want to talk about children, but from an earlier time is, I think, only going to benefit you. It's, any investment like this that you make within yourself is, you learn about yourself so much. I've learned so much. And I think the last session that we had was incredibly powerful. And I've really noticed shifts since we spoke, which was about 3 weeks ago, in comparison to, previously. And I think it's incredibly powerful. So it should be an absolute must.
And I second that. Yeah, totally. And that's one of the things that I say to you, Sarah, isn't it? How I wish I'd started earlier in terms of supervision at an earlier age, an earlier time. But it's true, all of the apprehensions and the hesitations of, is it the right time or is it for me? And am I at that position where I need it? And so the get started is definitely something that I recommend too. It's interesting that within the collective, you can choose to have one-to-one, or you can choose to have group. And so I'm going to acknowledge you both here because you both are in one-to-one with each other. And you obviously are being supervised by Sarah. What is that experience like? Because I know Sarah's sitting there and she probably wouldn't ask that question, but I can. But what is it like being in that space, one-to-one with a supervisor? Let us know.
I quite like it. I think it really is an opportunity to really dig deep, I suppose, in terms of personalizing it and really getting, spending more of that time on whatever it is that I bring to the session. And obviously Sarah's great in terms of the questions and what she picks up, hearing things that perhaps I might not initially consciously notice, and reflecting back a lot of the time. And I think that having that individual one-to-one support has been really profound. I've absolutely noticed such shifts, as I've said. And I'm quite used to coaching in one-to-one capacity. So for me, it didn't feel overwhelming or, I'm having to be too vulnerable. It was actually, a really safe space that was created. But equally, I'd also say, I've not experienced supervision in a group setting, but I can imagine that would be something I'd also enjoy, because the beauty of that is then that you don't feel that you're alone in your experience. So whilst obviously didn't feel that either with Sarah, and I didn't, but I think hearing other people reflect back what you're experiencing as well, I think that there's so much power in that capacity as well.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, because I think a lot of people are not sure whether it's one-to-one that's right for them, whether it's group, and there are pros and cons to both. There are advantages and disadvantages to each method. Sarah and I have both been one-to-one. We both have been in group. You know, they both serve their purpose in different capacities. So it's great to know that you've got that space with Sarah, and you've seen some transformations in the work that you do. So again, celebrating you both.
Thank you. No, and thank you, Sarah. It's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Oh, thank you so much, Natalie. I absolutely love working with you. Yeah, it's an incredible privilege to have that relationship, to work alongside you, and it's very much in supervision, very much a partnership of equals, to work alongside you as a professional coach. And as you said, just to hold that space, to offer that reflection, to ask those questions. Incredibly grateful for supervision, both for myself as a supervisor, but also in role as supervisor. It really is a wonderful space to be in. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so Rebecca and I have massively bigged you up and wholeheartedly. And, you know, honestly, anytime anybody says to me, I need a coach for, you know, in the parenting space, I'm like, Natalie is the person to go to. So do refer you sort of naturally all of the time. But yeah, no, honestly. But if people want to find out more about you, if they want to connect with you, what's the best place for them to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. I really, really appreciate that. So where people can find me is I'm, you know, quite active on Instagram. So my handle there is Power Thoughts, N for Natalie, C for Costa. So Power Thoughts NC. Obviously email. So you can contact me through my website, which is powerthoughts.co.uk, and LinkedIn as well. I'm active on there as well. So that's just Natalie Costa. So if that comes up, you'll be able to see that. So all of those places, I'm on there most days. So, you know, people can get in touch with me in that way.
Brilliant. Thank you, Natalie. And, you know, if you've got kids, or I think if you're a teacher, actually, if you've got kids or you work with kids in any capacity, for sure, go and follow Natalie, because you're always posting really like helpful tips. You've done loads this September about the transition back into school. So definitely recommend give Natalie a follow. She's absolutely full of pearls of wisdom, really, really valuable content. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Natalie. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you today. Thank you so much for being here.
No, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And just for the incredible space that you two are creating. I think it is definitely so needed.
Bless you. Thank you.
Take care, Natalie. Speak soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So that was lovely.
That was a lovely conversation, wasn't it? What a wonderful way to spend a Wednesday morning.
Definitely. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all the links to Natalie's socials and her website. We're going to put them in the chat, in the comment section. So you'll be able to scroll down to the comments after the end of this live and follow, connect, email, whatever works best for you. And we hope that Natalie can support you in your journey, whatever that may be. So doors are open to the Coaching Catalyst Collective, which is our supervision service. We are so proud of the coaches that have invested in this service with us, the ones that we're working with currently, and also the new ones that are joining us. When doors close at the end of this week, which is Friday at 3 p.m, they won't be reopening until February, like early 2024. So we have closed supervision groups in the collective, just to ensure that the groups are psychologically safe, that they can connect, unite, build relationships. So please don't miss out this time and on this opportunity. What do you get in the collective? Well, not only do you get monthly group coaching supervision, you get monthly learning and development, monthly connection calls, twice in-person events in London. Have I missed anything else out? Coaching triads, that's one we get. Yep, definitely get that. But also a wonderful, wonderful community to be part of. And that's really important for us, that you are in a thriving coaching community. So how do we sign up, Sarah?
So what you need to do is you need to head to our link, which is bit.ly/coaching coaching. Help me out, Rebecca.
Collective.
I was like, it's not in front of me. I'm having to use my memory. Coaching hyphen collective. Our spaces for group supervision are filling up fast. So if you think this might be for you, then do please get in touch and we will book a call. You can come on and speak to myself and Rebecca and find out whether this is the right place for you, whether it's group, whether it's one-to-one. Do get in touch and let us know. Okay, that is it for now. We are going to be back later this afternoon with another collective client, Crystals Harrison. Very much looking forward to our conversation with him. So thank you for joining. If you're watching on replay, give us a #replay and let us know your thoughts. Any questions for Natalie, we will be sure to pass them on. All right, take care, everybody. Thank you.